Well, good morning and welcome to Tea in the Hall. Apologies for there being no tea in the hall last week, but I'm afraid the technology and I had a fight and the technology won. Hopefully everything will go smoothly today because it's the usual mix of fun and faith, of silly and serious, sublime and ridiculous, noteworthy stories and cringeworthy jokes. It's Tea in the Hall.
To tea in the hall, come one and come all, from Saturdays at 9. There's no bacon rolls, no scones, no snowballs, and nothing to drink at all. But we will share friendship and fellowship, fun quizzes, some stories, some talk. So might get in tea and a biscuit all day. Please join us for tea in the hall. Oh, the doors are shut, the church all locked up. There's nothing going on in the hall, but just the same, we'll praise God's name. He doesn't change at all. So now it's time in your house and mine to answer to the call. Bring your in cup and come and sup with us, tea in the hall.
And first up is Lottie with a poem about a very special place in our community and some very special people called the Hushers. I wonder what that place is, and I wonder who the Hushers are. Lottie will tell us.
Husher by Roy Stewart. When I was just a toty bairn, nae higher than my ma's knee, she took me to a dark cold place, and then she turned to me. Keep still and dinna speak, she warned, her lips close to my ear. Then added finger to her mouth, there micht be hushers near. I sat near deed wi' frightened thought, hushers were they? Ghosties, beasties, deils perhaps, her words fair spilt my day. And then a wee man dressed in black appeared, stood up and spoke. Is yon a hushin', ma? I squealed. If looks could kill, I'd choke. Around my face scowled and glowered, their lips and mouths turned down. A sober-dressed, sour-faced men cried, hush! And gied a frown. Puir mither melted in her seat, her face was crimson red. Wait till I get you hame, she hissed, nae supper, straight to bed. But now the folk had turned awa', but then their feet they sprang, to sing like Glake at Hood at Cross, a richt real dreary sang. Next clinging on a bobbing way, a wee baggy passed by me. Is that a hushin', ma? I speered. She looked as if she'd cry. Again some wrinkled heads turned round, frae a pair old men came. Hush, 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 was all I heard, and then I was marched hame. Will all this happened years lang syne? A whiles I gie a smick, for I've become a husher now, an elder o' the kirk.
Well, now you know. That dark place was the church, and the Hushers were the elders. And of course, Lottie herself is an elder, but she's not a husher. So thank you very much, Lottie, for that poem. We're going to continue with a song that looks on the lighter side of the ageing process. Please sing along because I'm sure you'll know the tune. And if you keep watching right to the end, you'll see some people for whom lockdown has really made them age an awful lot in just a few months.
I used knees, my back. Falter-all, 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 for my nips, my knees, my back. I used to get my takeaway, Chinese or Indian, but if I eat them nowadays, they just give me heartburn. Gaviscon, 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 for curing my heartburn. I used to love the tooth fairy when I was very small, but she no longer visits me, for I've no teeth at all. Polygraph, 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 for I've no teeth at all. I used to eat my 4 square meals on which our health depends, but now it seems my body is in need of supplements. Calcium, 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 to give me supplements. I used to in my wee grey cells such information store, but now I have to write it down and stick it to the door. Write it down, 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 and stick it to the door. I used to in the mirror admire my hair brown, red or black, but now I need some chemicals to get the colour back. Grecian, Grecian 2000, Grecian 2000, Grecian, Grecian 2000, Grecian 2000, to get my colour back. I used to is a favourite phrase these days, if truth be told, but I still clench it in the lungs if you dare call me old. Falderie, faldera, falderie, faldera, falderie, faldera, don't dare you call me old. Don't dare you call me old.
Thank you to Claire and to Alec for being such good sports. And now it's quiz time. Quiz time. And our quiz this week is school days. 12 questions, and they're all related in some way to school subjects or school life. The first one is, which comic did the Bash Street Kids appear in? Which comic did the Bash Street Kids appear in? And the answer is The Beano. Question number 2. When was the school leaving age raised to 16 in Scotland? When was the school leaving age raised to 16 in Scotland? And the answer is 1972. Although it was first talked about in 1964, it took 8 years for the legislation to come in. Question 3. In Scottish primary schools, what is the maximum class size? In Scottish primary schools, what is the maximum class size, maximum number of pupils? And the answer is 33 at the moment. Question 4. Chemistry question. What substance has the chemical formula H2SO4? Which substance has the chemical formula H2SO4? And the answer is sulfuric acid. If you put down water, I am definitely not coming to your house for my tea. Question 5 is a geography question. What's the capital of Kenya? What is the capital of Kenya? And the answer is Nairobi. Question 6. Which Scottish private school did Prince Charles go to? Which Scottish private school did Prince Charles go to? And it was Gordonston. Question 7. What is the full name of the teachers' union, the EIS? What is the full name of the teachers' union, the EIS? It's the Educational Institute of Scotland. Question 8 is a history question. What skin disease did Robert the Bruce's father have? What skin disease did Robert the Bruce's father have? And the answer is leprosy. Question 9 is a music question. In what musical is the main character Jean Valjean? That's a wee clue maybe there. In what musical is the main character Jean Valjean? And the answer is Les Miserables, or as my mother used to say, Les Miserables. Question 10 is a PE question. In which decade of the 20th century was the hula hoop invented? That's the one that goes round your waist, not the one that you get out of a packet. In which decade of the 20th century was the hula hoop invented? And it was the 1950s, 1958 to be precise. Question 11. Which fictional girls' school is more famous for high jinks than high marks? Which fictional girls' school is more famous for high jinks than high marks? Now, there might be a number of them, I don't know, but the one that I was thinking of is St. Trinian's. And the final question. On which famous scientist report card did the teacher write, "Will never amount to anything"? On which famous scientist's report card did the teacher write, "Will never amount to anything"? And the answer is Albert Einstein, which probably says a lot more about the teacher than it does about Einstein. I think if you got 7 or more out of, maybe 8 or more, it was 12, yes, 8 or more out of 12, then you were doing very well. And if you got 12 out of 12, that's brilliant. It was quite a mixed bag today for our quiz time. It's always good to give our brains a wee rest after the quiz time. So we thank Jim Johnson for some beautiful photographs and Christine Wilson for some lovely music as you just relax and enjoy the beauty of God's world. When I came to Newcomnock at first, I started some wee notebooks. One was a list of names. Usually you have first name and last name, but I had to have another 2 columns. First name, maiden name if it was a woman, because that's how they called people, and nickname. Because sometimes I would go to the hospital and I would think I had 3 or 4 folk to visit, and I actually just had 2 because people had told me that they're different names. But the other list that I made, and I'm still making it, is a list of Newcomnock sayings. So now not to be outdone by Stanley Baxter and Parliamo Glasgow, this morning we bring you Parliamo Newcomnock. Good evening, friends, and welcome to this, our first lesson in Parliamo Newcomnock, where we deal with 2 new words, ocht and twy. And let's start with ocht. Now, in other dialects of Scots, ocht is a term of frustration or exclamation, as in, ocht, if you look at her, or, ocht, I'm fair for folken. In Newcomnock, however, ocht takes on a radical new meaning. For in Newcomnock, in fact, ocht means anything at all. So don't do anything at all is
don't do ocht.
Is there anything at all by the way of sustenance?
Och for eating.
Anything, therefore, is ocht. And nothing, therefore, is
no ocht.
If a situation or problem is challenging in the extreme, it means
there's no ocht you can do.
If the male of the species complains of feeling unwell with man flu, the response from the female of the species is usually
there's no och wrong with you.
Thank you. So ocht was our first word. And now the teacher and the demonstrators move to a second group of words. The complexity of a very simple word. The word in English, to, TWO. But in Scottish, even in our little corner of Scotland, there are 3 variations. So, to explain this to us, we have a solid Newcomnock person. Then for one day only, we have a Domellington buddy that's a Doonhamer. And thirdly, for a genuine upmarket Ayrshire accent, we have somebody who went to Kilmarnock Academy. And they will help us with our next Parliamo Newcomnock lesson. Now we turn to the word for 2, that's TWO, as in 1 and 1 make TWO. This is where the complications begin, for there are regional variations. In Newcomnock, 2 is
twy.
In Dumfries and Galloway, 2 is
twa.
In Kilmarnock and the rest of the best of the West, 2 is
go.
So then, 1 and 1 make
twy.
Twa. Twa.
It takes
twy.
Twa. Twa.
to tango and
twy.
Twa. Twa.
and
twy.
Twa.
twa,
make 4. And these varied pronunciations also hold true in song. For example, T for
twee,
Twa,
twa,
and
twee,
twa.
twa for tea.
ah. So beautiful to hear such harmony. Yes, twa, 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 sung almost as
Yin,
Yin,
one,
which sounds like another foreign language altogether. And that's all, folks. Or as they say in New Cumnock,
no,
ocht.
else.
and I'm now delighted to introduce, and thanks to the 3 ladies for bringing us their gifts in drama, and to Mr. Zoom for bringing the ladies to us over the internet. I'm absolutely delighted to be able to introduce to you Zoe and David, who are going to sing Hallelujah for us.
Yeah, thank you.
I heard there was
came
a
in like that.
sick chord. That's just really frustrating me. I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do you? Well, it goes like this: the 4th, the 5th, the minor fall, and the major lift. The baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof. Her beauty in the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to the kitchen chair. She broke your throne and she cut your hair. And from your lips she drew the hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Baby, I've been here before. I've seen this room, I've walked this floor. I used to live alone before I knew you. I've seen your flag in the marble arch, and love is not a victory march. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. There was a time when you let me know what's really going on below, but now you never show that to me, do you? But remember when I moved in you, the holy dove was moving too, and every breath we drew is hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Well, maybe there's a God above, but all I ever learned from love was how to shoot somebody who outdrew you. It's not a cry you can hear at night. It's not someone who has seen the light. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Awesome.
That was brilliant. And I know it's a special song. You meant to sing it last weekend because I know that it's Zoe's grandpa's special song, Billy Houston. And it was Billy and Margaret's 50th wedding anniversary last weekend. And many congratulations to them. Now, we are going to have a history tale. We're going to have a wee bit of a history tale today, but not unfortunately from Bobby Guthrie and not from Newcomnock, but from me about a wee village about 30 miles south of where we are. Because last Saturday, June the 6th, was the anniversary of the birth of a lady called Jane Henning. She was born on June the 6th, 1897 in the village of Dunscore. Jane actually grew up on Lochenhead Farm. Her father was a farmer. He was also the minister in the United Free Church, and his wife was Jane Matheson. Unfortunately, Jane's mother, Jane, died young, and Jane had to look after the other children in the house. She went to the village school and to our local United Free Church, of course, as well. She was very good at school. She managed to win a scholarship, which gave her enough money to go to Dumfries Academy as a boarding school pupil. In her time there, she became Dux of Dumfries Academy, and she won 40 other prizes as well. And she was very good at languages and maths. From there, she trained in Glasgow as a secretary. She worked her way up to be personal secretary to the people, the directors of the thread makers, Coates and Paisley. And she did that for 10 years. But she didn't feel that that was what she wanted to do for the rest of her life. She loved children, and she also felt that God was calling her to work with them full time. One day she saw an advert in the paper for a Church of Scotland missionary to be the matron of the girls' home at the Scottish Mission School to the Jews in Budapest in Hungary. It was a mixture of Christian and Jewish children. And it had a good reputation, not just for school subjects and good teaching, but as a place where everyone was treated equally with the same love and respect. When the Second World War started, the Church of Scotland told her to come back to Scotland for her own safety, but Jane didn't want to do that. She wanted to stay with the girls. Time passed, and in 1944 the church wrote to her again and said, please leave because the Germans are going to invade. But she didn't. She wanted to look after the girls and protect them and try to stop them from being sent away. Jews, as we know, after Germany invaded Hungary, were forced to wear yellow stars when they went out. But the staff at the school made sure that they took them off straight away when they came in, so there was no difference between them and the non-Jewish people in the school. One day, the cook's son-in-law had taken some food that was actually meant for the girls, and Jane gave him a row and wasn't very happy with the cook either. Because of that, the cook reported Jane to the Gestapo, and they came in and took Jane away. As she left that morning, she said to the girls, "Don't worry, I'll be back for lunch." But of course, Jane was never back in the school. The SS accused Jane of a number of things: that she'd worked among the Jews, that she had wept when putting yellow stars on the girls, that she'd dismissed her housekeeper who was an Aryan, that she'd listened to the BBC, that she'd many British visitors, that she'd visited British prisoners of war and had sent them parcels, and that she was active in politics and she was a spy. Being very honest, she admitted to all of these things except being a spy and being involved in politics. Because she admitted to the charges, she was sent across the border to Poland, to Auschwitz in May 1944, where she was tattooed as prisoner 79467. She sent a last postcard on the 15th of July 1944 and died in hospital, which is what they said, in Auschwitz on the 17th of July 1944, age 47. Jane is remembered in a number of places. In Budapest itself, where she has a street named after her. Scottish woman who was recognised in 1997 by the Yad Vashem in Israel as righteous among the nations for having risked her life to help Jews during the Holocaust. The church she went to in Glasgow, which is now Queen's Park Church, erected a stained glass window in her honour. And in 2010, the British government named her a hero of the Holocaust. Her local village also raised funds to get a memorial and a Jane Henning trail in her village. And of course, her name is, along with the rest of her family, in the family grave outside Dunsker Church. But it's not just on stone and on glass that she's remembered. These ladies that we can see here were all pupils at the school. Quite a number of them went to Auschwitz with their families. One lady, the lady at the very far end, she was in Auschwitz and all of her family were killed there. She was the only one to get out alive. And they meet up and they talk about their time together and about how much Jane meant to them, how much Jane loved them. A fairly local hero who took the risk of love, gave her life for the people she felt called to care for. She had the sense and worth to stick firmly to her own faith, but accept and protect those who didn't share her beliefs. Jane Henning, a story, I think, for our time. This song follows on well, I think, from the story of Jane Henning. It says, "You can make a difference." You can make a difference now. Yesterday's gone, and tomorrow it may be too late. You can make a difference here. Whoever you are, wherever here may be. can make a difference, make a difference now. Yesterday's gone and tomorrow it may be too late. You can make a difference, make a difference here. Whoever you are, wherever here may be. A cup of cold water given to a thirsty man may seem like such a trivial thing in a world with so much suffering. But Jesus tells us if it's given for his sake, just one little cup of water, what a difference it can make. You can make a difference, make a difference now. Yesterday's gone and tomorrow it may be too late. You can make a difference, make a difference here. Whoever you are, wherever here may be. You can make a difference, make a difference now. Yesterday's gone and tomorrow it may be too late. You can make a difference, make a difference here. Whoever you are, wherever here may be. And of course, tea in the hall wouldn't be tea in the hall unless we heard from our very good friend. Hello, I'm the Reverend I.M. Jolie. M is for James Bond's M. And Jolie is the French for jolly, at least I think it is. And if it's no, it's pretty close. That's me, the Reverend I.M. Jolie. But my friends call me Angelina. And I'm here to cheer you up. I'm here to go to the depths of despair, to lift you out, up to the heights of despair. And it's my delectificationality to be here with you today. Some folk ask if ministers are just always on their own, but actually no, we meet up every now and again. It's called a fraternal, from frater, meaning brother. So I suppose really, when the men meet up, it's a fraternal. When the women meet up, it's a sisternal. When men and women meet up, it's probably infernal. If it's maybe ministers' mothers, then it would be maternal. If it's their fathers, it would be paternal. And if it goes on as long as I'm going on the new, it would definitely be eternal. Aye, it's not always an easy job being a minister, but it's just such a joyful profession, such a joyful calling. And every now and again we do meet up with folk, sometimes folk of other faiths. I was hearing about a Presbyterian minister, and a Hindu, and a Muslim. They all went to this conference together. But here, their car broke down. And they had to stay in a house out in the wilds. The house only had enough space for two of them. So one of them had to go out into the barn and sleep. So the Muslim went out. And then a wee while later there was a knock at the door. And it was the Muslim man. He said, "Oh, I'm sorry. There are pigs in that barn and it's against my religion to be anywhere near them." Okay. So then the Hindu went out into the barn. A wee while later there was a knock at the door. And it was the Hindu man. He said, "Oh, I'm sorry." He said, "There are cows there and I can't do anything to damage any cows, and I might waken up in the night or roll over and harm them. I'm sorry, I can't be there." So the Presbyterian minister went into the barn. A wee while later there was a knock at the door. And they opened it. And there on the doorstep were the cow and the pig and all the other barn animals. It's enough a thing that we get a reputation just like that. And sometimes we get other kinds of reputation that we're out talking and we talk for an awful long time. Like this minister that was preaching as a sole nominee. And the vacancy committee, I ken you call it something different, but they went to hear him. And his sermon lasted 5 minutes. That's the man for us, they said. So they invited him to preach as sole nominee, because they had just gone to hear him that time. So he preached as sole nominee, and he preached for 10 minutes. And they thought, "Oh well, it's definitely better than the woman we had before." And then the next week, he preached for 20 minutes. They were beginning to get a wee bit worried, but they thought that's still all right. Then the next week, it was an hour. A whole hour his sermon. So these elders got together and they had to have a meeting with him. They said, "We think you have led us down the garden path. When we went to hear you, you preached for 5 minutes. And then when you came as sole nominee, it was 10, and then it was 20. And last week, you preached for a whole hour." "Oh well, I can explain that," said the Presbyterian minister. He said, "When you came to hear me, I had just been to the dentist and my mouth was really sore, so I could only preach for 5 minutes. Okay. And then the time I came to preach as sole nominee, I still had some pain, but it wasn't quite as bad, so I could manage 10. Okay. Then the following week, well, my mouth was back to normal, so yes, 20 minutes is about my normal length of a sermon. 20 minutes is the normal length of a sermon, they said. "Oh, what happened last week? You preached for an hour." "Well," they said, "when I was wakening up, I put my whole hour to the dressing table, and here I put my wife's teeth in by mistake, and I couldn't stop talking." That's an anti-women joke, by the way. But that's all right, because it's me that's saying it. Maybe you've been thinking that I've been looking at you just a wee bit more, instead of looking down at my notes all the time. Well, you ken why? It's because I'm making it up as I go along. So it's goodbye from me. I tell you what, this hot water and milk's awfully good. It's awfully good. And remember, please keep your contributions coming in. As you'll see, in the hall is looking for contributions from folk old and new, jokes and songs and stories and poems, photos, music, quizzes, etc., etc. And next Saturday is a special day. June the 20th is going to be Scatter Day, and we'd like you to send in pictures of cats that you know, or cats that your friends know, or your auntie, or your granny, or your cousin knows, but they have to be cats that you know. No cats off the internet or cats you've seen in a magazine, but real, genuine article. And there we are. There's an example of a real, genuine article, Urwi Suki. You can have more than one picture. You can have a wheen if you like. We'll use all of them at various points from having our scatter day. Now, that doesn't mean to say that we won't have other things. So if you've got other poems, songs on another topic, that's fine. Just send them in. The more, the merrier. To tea in the hall, come one and come all, from Saturdays at 9. There's no bacon rolls, no scones, no snowballs, and nothing to drink at all. But we will share friendship and fellowship, fun quizzes, song stories, song told. So might you in tea and a biscuit all day, please join us for tea in the hall. Oh, the doors are shut, the church all locked up, there's nothing going on in the hall, but just the same we'll praise God's name, He doesn't change at all. So now it's time in your house and mine to answer to the call. Bring your in cup and come and sup